Despite having a very promising start in preseason, Malachi Flynn has slightly underwhelmed so far in his actual NBA games for the Toronto Raptors. And for that reason, he has been sent to the G League. So is this a good decision by the Raptors organization? Let's get into it. Welcome to Amateur Hour Sports. This is the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors at least 4 days a week, plus 3 live stream watch alongs a week at least. So if it is your first time here with me today and you like what you see, you want more of myself talking about the Raptors and content just like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Show your support, join the movement of the channel. We just hit 2,000 subscribers and we're looking to make it 3,000 as soon as possible. So if you genuinely like the content, make sure you stick around for future videos. But today, we are talking about Malachi Flynn. The Toronto Raptors have made the decision to send him to the G League bubble, where he's going to be getting a lot more play time. And in this video, we are going to discuss whether or not this was a good decision by the Toronto Raptors. So Malachi Flynn, we know he came out of the gates pretty hot in preseason. Was lacking maybe a little bit of play time in the first game against the Hornets, but then in the second game against the Hornets in the preseason, really exploded onto the scene. People were talking about him being one of the steals, if not the steal, of the 2020 NBA entry draft, and for good reason. His playmaking looked there. He looked NBA ready. He was hitting threes, getting to the rim, playing stellar defense. So, of course, people were excited. Then we got to the third preseason game into Miami Heat, where after playing so spectacularly in the game against the Hornets, really didn't get any minutes to showcase his stuff against the Heat. And the Raptors were really dominated, but that was only preseason. Once we got to the NBA, Malachi Flynn slightly struggled for some playtime. There were some games here and there where he got serviceable minutes, but didn't quite perform up to standard. But let's backtrack a little bit. So the Toronto Raptors, they go into the 2020 NBA entry draft with the 29th overall pick. This after having the second best record in the NBA last season. Now they've fallen off a little bit, but at the time, the 29th overall selection. And in my pre-draft wish list, Malachi Flynn was second on my wish list and first on my wish list when it came to guard. So I was absolutely ecstatic when the Raptors actually drafted this guy, and I managed to get an actual prediction right on the channel, but was over the moon to have drafted Malachi Flynn for all of the great qualities he possessed. He was the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year and the Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year, so something that really fit the Raptors system. Maybe slightly undersized for the guard position, but we're accustomed to that. We're used to that. The fact that he can play stellar defense really fit within the Raptors dynamic. It was almost as if we drafted a baby Fred VanVleet with Malachi Flynn coming in. In fact, I compared them in a video talking about the next Fred VanVleet, but it seems like Malachi Flynn was drafted to be the future point guard for the Raptors when Kyle Lowry eventually moves on. That could be at some point this season when Kyle Lowry, if he gets traded, or it could be at the end of the season if Kyle Lowry walks away in free agency. But if not, who better to learn from Malachi Flynn than Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, two NBA champions. Kyle Lowry, a 6-time All-Star, guys who get it done all over the court, not just in their points, in their statistics, but many endeavors and facets of the game that these guys contribute to winning, especially Kyle Lowry. So Malachi Flynn had two fantastic players to begin to learn from. So I thought this was a match made in heaven, bringing in Malachi Flynn to the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, had that great preseason, but now in the NBA, he has slightly underwhelmed. Hasn't really broke out yet. Hasn't really had, he's had that one really good game, but that was about it. Hasn't been consistent enough. And here's what I perceive Malachi Flynn to be so far. Obviously, he's still very young, and I think this was a good decision by the Raptors. But so far this season, what I've noticed is he's a smart player. He has a lot of basketball IQ. And when he gets a lot of minutes, his defense is very apparent. Plays very good defense, disrupts plays, gets steals. But his offense has been lacking a little bit in terms of the quality of his offense. His decision-making is there. And you can notice that his decision-making is there. But his execution with the ball, when he frees up himself for a good shooting opportunity or sees a good passing opportunity, the fact that he can recognize those situations is a good sign for a rookie. To see the play happen and make the right decision is very promising. The execution is what is lacking. So sometimes he'll have like a nice easy floater in the paint and he won't be able to hit it. He'll have an open three, won't be able to hit it, or he'll see a good pass to hit out in the corner and will just miss his mark and turn over the ball. Like the fact that he can see these scenarios unfold and have the ability to recognize them and try to make the play is good. That's what you want. but the execution just needs to be better. I can forgive, a mistake when it comes to execution, but I can't really forgive a player when they don't make the right decision. When they make a bad decision, it's kind of inexcusable. But when, they have the decision down and the execution just isn't quite there, you just go, okay, next time we'll fix it up. But Malachi Flynn, there's been too many of those situations where he's made the right decision, but the execution just hasn't been there. And I think that's a lot to do with the repetitions he's been getting, but I think that going to the G League will give him a lot of more touches, give him a lot more in-game scenarios, and will definitely help him develop. I mean, the Raptors have so many guys coming through the team who are, key figures in the team who have come through the G League. Pascal Siakam is a G League Finals MVP. Fred VanVleet is a G League champion. So Chris Boucher is a G League MVP. So a lot of these guys have come through, the full system to get to where they are. And I think Malachi Flynn will definitely profit from this. I compare Malachi Flynn a lot to Terrence Davis because I think Terrence Davis is like the polar opposite when it comes to Malachi Flynn. Terrence Davis is a guy whose decision-making isn't quite there all the time, but his execution is almost always there, consistently there. Like if Terrence Davis gets himself free up for a shooting opportunity, you can bank on him to knock down more often than not. But sometimes the decision-making, on defense, the fouls he gives up or, the turnovers he causes, I think that needs to change for Terrence Davis to reach the next level. They're opposites in that regard. So Terrence Davis needs to have better decision-making because his execution is there. So when he makes the decision-making more consistent, he's going to have the execution still there, and he's going to execute more often because the decisions are better. But for Malachi Flynn, his decision-making is there, and the execution just needs to be fine-tuned a little bit. So Malachi Flynn will head to the G League, where he will also be playing with Jalen Harris, the Raptors' 59th overall pick in the NBA entry draft. I wasn't, really processing that one happening. I didn't think Jalen Harris would be the pick for the Raptors. I was probably going to go for Devin Dotson, but the Raptors ended up taking a guy, a sizable shooting guard who can create his own shooting opportunities. I think that also, he will profit from G League. I mean, from the get-go, the day after they drafted him, I said that he is going to be in the G League. He's going to work on his time there. Wasn't expecting Malachi Flynn to hit the G League, especially after that insanely good preseason he had. But the fact that the Raptors are playing their next 5 games on the road and 8 of their next 9 games on the road, it means that there's going to be a lot of traveling. And it means that there isn't going to be a lot of practices. And when Malachi Flynn isn't getting a lot of NBA game time and not getting any practices, well, he's not really playing basketball at all, and that is the exact thing he does not need at this present moment in his development. Came in after 4 years in school, so he's definitely a guy who's older as a rookie. He's already 22 years old, but he needs touches. Just the fact that when you come in as a player, the biggest thing you need is touches on the ball, and clearly he is not getting those in the NBA at this present moment, so why not try him out in the G League? See if you can find something else. See if you can just get him a little more sharper. The best thing for him is just playing the game of basketball, sharpening up those centers, sharpening up those skills, becoming a little bit more consistent from 3, a little bit more consistent at finishing from the rim, and the passing and the defense. Those things are there. They're still there. They were there in the NBA, and they are going to remain there in the G League. Also, for confidence sake, it's hard coming into the NBA, when you were the best player in your conference, Mount West Conference Player of the Year, it's hard to transition into the NBA where all of a sudden fighting for minutes, where all of a sudden you're not the main guy with the ball. So going back to a situation in the G League where I think he's going to be one of the main guys, if not the main guy. He's going to be the starting point guard, the main ball handler, playing with the likes of Jalen Harris. I think this is going to be very good for, sharpening up the skills, and also for just a confidence sake. Seeing the ball go through the basket on a more consistent basis just elevates your mind and helps you perform better on the court. I think that overall, this has been a great decision by the Toronto Raptors to send him out to the G League. I think that he will profit very heavily, and in the long run, I think that the Raptors will also profit very heavily. The Raptors are not shy of sending first-round picks to the G League. Like I said earlier, Pascal Siakam is one of them who went to the G League and got a lot of confidence by playing there, becoming G League Finals MVP. So absolutely, I think that the Raptors have made a great decision here. So far in the NBA, he has shot 28% from the field. He's averaging 2.2 points per game, but I don't think the stats really tell the tale for Malachi Flynn. You really have to give him the eye test just because the minutes haven't been there, hasn't featured in 4 of the last 8 games, and when he does, typically it is in garbage time. So I think that just Malachi Flynn getting those minutes, getting those touches is going to make him a better NBA player for the Toronto Raptors, and that's a good decision. Let me know what you guys think of Malachi Flynn going to the G League with Jalen Harris. Do you think the Raptors made a good decision here by sending him, or do you think he would have profited more from playing in the NBA? I mean, you saw my opinion. The Raptors are going to be on the road a lot, not getting a lot of practice minutes from Malachi Flynn, so give him a lot of primary ball handling opportunities with a lesser team, the Raptors 905, who have done wonders for them in the past. So let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But that wraps up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. Show your support to the channel and see more of myself talking about the Raptors and content just like this. Like the videos you see like this one. We got videos like this. We got roundup videos for game reviews, and also we do live streams like the live stream we will be having tomorrow for the game against the Brooklyn Nets. Make sure you are there. Come join the fun. We're having a lot of fun with the live streams. Hope to see some of you there. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.